Okay, I kind of want to put myself on here because I'm going to kind of put myself out there a little bit. Okay, that last video was on. The last one is on concussions in the NFL and or just in football in general. And I have real problems with the NFL. By the way, did you know that up until just about a year ago, the NFL headquarters, the actual shield that they always talk about, not the individual teams. The individual teams are private enterprises that are commercial enterprises that make and lose money. The NFL headquarters for a long time, and goes all the way back to the 20s and 30s, when they were, and especially in the 50s when they wanted to start being televised, they became a nonprofit. They were a nonprofit organization. Paid Roger Goodell $45 million to be a total. Um, I have. I used to love football. In fact, I could name you every single Chief that started on the 1969 season, 19 ball that I got when I was 9 years old. When they used to practice at William Jewell College, I grew up in Liberty, so I took my little Wilson Youth League size practice because the practices were open to the public, and it was a whole different thing. Now the NFL, they're like Hollywood stars. In fact, you'd run into Willie Lanier or some of those guys. You'd run into the other Chiefs players all the time. Um, and I got all the autographs of the starting 11 on defense. It's amazing, and I still have that football. And anyway, so I used to love football. But I have just refused to. I'm not going to watch here. I'm not watching it. Um, One is because of the Colin Kaepernick thing, and it's because I actually support what he's saying. So I don't want anybody to say, but you're just in the military. No, the military actually upholds. That's why we have a military. All right. Somehow we got into this weird thing that happens all the time with on its own. And I'll just label it Professor. Uh, we got into this weird all of the militarism that are around football games now, and the whole God bless America, and we'll never forget 9/11. Hey, I almost lost a sister at 9/11. She was an investment banker. She just happened to be downtown on 50th Street and not down at Wall Street at her other office. And that day, you probably, some of you did lose friends or neighbors or family, people that were on uh, Flight 92. And I appreciate that, and I understand that. But I think we've turned that into this jingoism of uh, behaving at our sporting events that I find a little bit distasteful. I find it distasteful because I don't. I understand when people say, when they stand up and they applaud the veterans at Royal Stadium and stuff. I see it as a swage pass. Okay, in Afghanistan has been going on for 15, 16 years. There have been babies born that are now driving. And, those people that stand up and applaud, no, they have no idea. They have, well, no idea what that veteran went through, but they know that they're out of harm's way because they're not going to let them enlist in the military. Let's let other people do our dirty work, and then we can forget it. You bring back a draft, you start making people go. You start making the Liberty kids, from well-to-do families, the Blue Valley kids from Missouri, that Warren quick, your head will spin. But as long as that are, maybe a little bit less, have fewer advantages. I'm not saying that all well-off kids aren't joining the military, but let's be honest. Um, let's go let them do our dirty work for us, and then we'll applaud them. We'll wheel them out and applaud them, and then we'll get back to the game. Really bugs the crap out of me. And then the other thing with the NFL is they feel like it is okay for them to have their players abuse women, but yet if a African American athlete takes a knee because of the police violence, And I have friends. I have a good friend that's a retired police officer, police chief. This all the time, or not all the time, but we've discussed it. And if there is, it's if you are a black male out there on you, if you are African American driving through Johnson County, you best be on your best behavior. It's getting deep, all right. But if he wants to take a knee and protest to that, because during this, I thought that, okay. But the second thing is the people that are saying, "Hey, bullshit." High school football games, and you know what? I see those privileged little kids, 7th and 8th graders, during the national anthem, running around with chickens like they have anthem, okay? And their parents aren't doing a damn thing about it, all right? So don't tell me that he's disrespecting the flag when every high school football game I go to, and that's what shocked my daughter. When I left active duty back in 1995, before we became this police state, military, state, and those of us who served, during the Cold War from '83 to '95, I served in the reserves then until 2007. Um, we went to our first high school football game in Liberty. She was a 6th grader. She'd grown up in on Marine bases, and she's going. We go to the first football game, and when you're on a military base, they stop. When they play reveille, first thing in the morning, everything stops. They play the Star Spangled Banner during the football game. She's watching all her friends not even paying attention and running around, and she's appalled. She's like, "What is this?" So people talk out both sides, and then the biggest insult, I couldn't believe it when I came in the end of the Chiefs song and the home. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I deployed for 3 Christmases in a year, did Desert Storm, and it's the home of the Chiefs. Kiss my, Sorry to have gone off, but I have absolutely refused to watch and of the NFL. And there's a real problem in football right now because Blue Valley North can barely field a football team. Why? The parents aren't letting the kids go out for it anymore. No one's going out for it anymore. Okay, it's dying a slow death, but the NFL knows how to get throughout history when their livelihood is being threatened and they need a workforce. You got it. There's a whole little minor league of football in Africa. Okay, so we don't allow a gentleman to exercise his right of free speech. Okay, now as a military person, I would be allowed to go to a protest or something like that. I just can't wear my uniform, and I can't tell anybody I'm in the service. That's you give up some things when you're in the service. I could do it now as a retiree. That's no problem. All right. So anyway, I apologize for kind of going on and on, but these are just some things to think about. And the other thing too, when you try and watch a football game, they've completely ruined it with hundreds. The minutia of detail of all the instant replays is boring. They don't have journalists in the booth who can talk about issues. They have sycophant ex-players just regurgitating the same garbage over and over again. And then I don't need to watch in a 3-hour and 45-minute broadcast. There's only 50 and commercials, and I do not need to see. So that means I'll probably have to watch a Papa John's pizza commercial. To me, it's just mind-numbingly dull. Mind-numbing. So anyway, that's my. So I haven't watched any of the football games this year, right? And I used to love football. I really did. But now I think their great athletes are terrific. I think the owners are awful people. Peddling in flesh there. All right, I'll stop here and think about if I want to load this or not. Okay, out here.